huffing and puffing. I just give it a go in the garden there. Take a look. See that? I passed a little tiller. This is a Mastercraft. It was sold by Canadian Tire quite a few years ago. I'll take this thing out of here. I'll bring it in the garage and we'll have a little chit chat. Hang in there. Yeah, hang on, where is it? It's right there. See that? Oop, hang on, I'll lower you a little bit. It's hiding in behind my big belly. Okay, there's the story with this little tiller. I didn't have no tiller before. I used to make a garden, and my father was living, and he had a little garden tiller, so I'd borrow it from him. And there was quite a few years that I didn't make no garden. But just up the road here a piece, had bought a property and I built a house, and it was right in front of my wife's, an uncle hers. He was, I'm gonna say 82, about that. And he had a little garden, but he had I think it was a 18 horsepower tractor. He had a snowblower in the winter time, and in the summer, well, he had bought a tiller for it for the back, eh? So this tiller wasn't used. He had parked for over 10 years, and it wouldn't start for him anymore. It didn't have no compression, eh? So he figured the motor was done, eh? So he asked me if I wanted it. Well, I says, I'll go see. So I pulled the crank on it, eh? And there's absolutely no compression, not even a little bit. I found that funny, eh? So I said, okay, I'll take it. I brought it to my place. I took the head off, and there was, I think it was the exhaust valve. It was popped open about a 1/16 of an inch, but it wouldn't close completely, eh? So I didn't even take nothing else apart. I just worked that valve, eh? I put some, I'm looking in my stuff to see what I got. I forget what I put. Probably some release all or some anti-seize of some, not anti-seize, but some kind of release all oil, and down the valve stem. And I turned the valve a little bit, and nothing special, eh? Not even anyways, I didn't take even the valve apart or the keepers on the valve and pull the valve or nothing. Didn't do nothing to it, and then the valve finally freed up, eh? So I put the head back on. Didn't even address the new head gasket. I just kept the old gasket, retorqued the head. Well, the old Armstrong retorquing like we used to do when we were young. Just be reasonable, and it'll be good enough. And put some gas in her, a little bit of quick start in the carburetor, and poof, she fired up on me, and away it goes. And then I had a garden tiller. Well, this uncle of mine, you guys have time. There's a little story with this uncle of my wife's, eh? This guy used to fly, he belonged to some club, and he used to fly little planes, eh? Well, little. Just one wing on those planes was more than 5, probably 6 feet, just maybe 12 feet, 12, 13 feet span from wing to wing. Like they weren't small, these planes, eh? And one of them he had quite a collection too, eh? Like you'd go up, he had a garage built at the back of his house, something like I got, but it was even further in the back, like right in the back of his property. And he would have a second floor, and the second floor was dedicated to planes, only planes. These little planes, eh? Like he belonged to a flying club, and one of them had a rotary engine in it. Now this was it was a I don't know how to say that, two-wing plane, and a biplane they call that, I think. And it sounded nice when he started those little engines, but he never flew it around his place. He always went. I never seen him fly the planes, but every winter he'd build one or two, and I never heard that he crashed them. I think he didn't fly them too much. I think it was more of a satisfaction thing of just building it, and having it, because they are all on display upstairs on the second floor, every plane. Some of them didn't have it, was just the body, and the wings were on the wall, like he had special hangers for the wings. This guy had quite the carpentry shop too on downstairs, He was a man of many skills. And I think where this tiller comes from is he had a garden, quite an elaborate garden, and in this garden he had a what do you call it? It's a solarium, but not a solarium. You start your vegetables in that. He had an electric heater in there, and he had box pans made out of copper, and he had his soil in there, and the soil wasn't on the ground, no sir, it was on little racks on each side, and not a solarium, greenhouse. It had a damper, and the damper wasn't even electricity control. It was I don't know, heat operated. It had a kind of a balum on it, and as he could adjust it, and as the heat came up on the ceiling, it opened this damper and it opened up the vents, and it was all built out of cedar, red cedar, this greenhouse of his, and it was all, I don't know if you guys remember the old windows. There was no casing. It was just a sliding window. Well, that's it. All that greenhouse was built with those sliding windows, and he had grooved the cedar, and he had them stuck in there all siliconed or sealed with some kind of sealant. And well done. That guy, if he did something... okay, I have another little story about him. If he did something, you didn't have to do it again, Not like most people these days, The carpenters, and we have to say that fast, that I had hired. I built a house right in front, and I had some bay windows, like first floor, second floor, and they were one over, well, not quite over, there's a bit of a knee wall built over the bottom one, and then the top one. Well, the guys had set up a scaffold, and they dropped the window, and the bottom part of the casing, it was plastic covered, but the bottom part of the casing had broken on the window, So what I did, I went to see the window company. I ordered a chunk of plastic, and I asked him if he could rebuild, because I just had a few plywoods in the spot where the window went, and these clowns, they were supposedly carpenters. Well, I wouldn't have got them to fix the window, I'll tell you that. Anyways, I got the plastic from the window company, and he manufactured, or he made the wood, and then I'm sure once he got done putting it on the window, it was a lot better than originally. And then I proceeded to warn the guys that if you need help, I'll give you help, and I'll get help if more is needed, but you don't drop it a second time, because anyways, it wouldn't have been a happy camper thing. Anyways, that's it. It's gardening time. Well, we're in May now, and it's starting to get time's flying by, eh? And the weather, ooh, it's not like we get a few days warmer weather, and the cold seems to still be snappy, eh? Higher highs and lower lows, and it's sticking, eh? I guess it'll come eventually, but come on, spring. And with that, we'll be going to the camp. Wow, that's coming, eh? It's just a question of scheduling now, and I get a feeling that we're close. So, but I just wanted to show you that I started the agricultural thing, and I wanted to mix the earth. I last year, over the soil, like around the plants, to control the weeds, I had put a bale. I had brought one, or I forget now, 1 or 2 bales of straw from my daughter's and son-in-law's place. I had brought the bales here, and I put it around the plants. Now, to let it thaw, I pulled most of the straw out of there, and like to get it to air out, and I figured I'd put some of that straw into the earth. It'll put some I'm gonna say a name. It'd put some organic matter into the soil. That's what you got to do, eh? That's why you buy peat moss there, and peat moss has 0 for different iron or whatever. It's got 0. It's worth nothing other than it gives the earth movability. Another name that I didn't say right, but hey, yeah, the earth becomes fluffier, and it doesn't all clump up together, so the plants have a chance to grow. That's the story. Okay, folks, I don't know if you enjoy these. We're hanging on by the end of our fingers. The camp is calling me, Gator, come down. Okay, that's it for this one, folks. Comments are welcome. I try to give non-generic answers, and we'll see you in the next one.